Hi, this is the instructional video for the 10-foot and the 14-foot cinema case. This is the package you get. This is your screen. And then this is the case. And you get an external speaker. I got two types of speakers there. I'm going to show you. They're just a little bit different. With the screen, the blower stays on the whole time. When you turn off the blower, it immediately starts collapsing. It has a tendency to fall forward. We'd rather, lay it on its back, have the white screen, avoid the white screen touching the ground, whenever possible. And then if you don't put it away neat, if you don't fold it neat and roll it neat and just stuff it in that bag, it'll just get more wrinkly than we need. And so what you want to do is fold it neat. I just keep folding it until it's the width of the bag, and then you roll it. Okay, so how this case works, you can drop the handle here and pop those little, there's one on each side, you just pop them out and then it detaches. The top portion has the projector, the DVD player, and some speakers in that. That's going to go in front of the screen. We're going to pretend this wall is the screen. The bottom portion that has the blower sits either to the side of the screen, or some of our screens it attaches to the back. And the inflation sleeve just drawstrings around the nozzle, or velcros around the nozzle of this blower here. You get a 50-foot extension cord. If you need to go further than that, you can just use one of your own, just hook another extension cord onto it, but usually 50 feet's enough. You get a mallet, you get 4 stakes. These are some of the things that get left behind. It can hide in the grass. More so the speaker cable, and I'll show you that in a minute because it's black. You're putting this away at night. Okay, so we're going to pretend this extension cord is this one here. And where it plugs in is just in the back here. It's kind of hidden there. It's under a little flap. You just plug it in. This fan will kick on. Once you got this case plugged in with the extension cord, it has power. You have outlets. There's an outlet like this on the other side. There's 2 outlets. So it really doesn't matter where you bring that extension cord to. This distance isn't very far. On the 10-foot screen, I would say somewhere in the neighborhood between 6 feet, 6 to 8 feet. The 14-foot, maybe 8 to 10 feet. This extension cord is on a retractable reel. It powers the blower. It's like 20 feet, so it's easily going to reach. And just for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to show you how that works. You just plug it in, it kicks on. And it sounds loud in here, but I promise you won't notice the blower after the movie's playing. These speakers are on. So this is the external speaker that you get. You get one of these with your rental. I got 2 of them out here because there's 2 different styles. They're just slightly different. This is the cable that gets left behind a lot. There's 2 of them here. There's a power cord and the speaker cable. So the power cord just plugs in, and you want to make sure it's turned off. It's because when you start plugging in the speaker cable and has power, it can make a loud popping noise, which isn't good on the speaker. So this is pretty straightforward. You got the small one, and again, this speaker can go on either side of the case. There's the outlet again on either side, and there's also this little guy here where the speaker plugs into. That's on either side. And so the little one goes just in there. It's basically just a headphone jack there. And then this big one goes right in there. This would be your volume. 12 o'clock is plenty loud. I just keep all these knobs at 12 o'clock. This one's just slightly different in the fact that it plugs in down here, and the on switch is right there. And this is the same, where this just goes into the headphone jack, but that end looks a little different. That just goes in right there. Yeah, I suppose it could also go there, but whichever one you're in, that's the volume. Again, 12 o'clock's plenty loud. I just keep all the knobs at 12 o'clock. Okay, we got this plugged in. We can turn this on now. We're going to wait for a green light. So we got power there. Okay, inside this case now. If this is up, you want to lower that. Remove the cap. one of two ways to turn on the projector here. You can just turn it on, all the buttons here are on the top, or you can also use the remote. I'm going to come back to the remote because there's a troubleshooting tip here that happens on occasion. When people are using the remote, they can accidentally push that button. That little button takes it off HDMI and puts it on media, and you won't have a picture because it has to be on HDMI. And I'll show you that in a minute. This is how you're going to focus it. It's like a camera. You're just going to turn the lens. You got to turn on these speakers as well. Forgot those for a minute. Yeah, you got to manually turn those on. Then once you got this speaker turned on and these inside here, then this volume is going to control all three of these. You want to make sure that blue light's on. It's usually on, but sometimes you can turn it off. This is the remote for the DVD player. That's going to come out down here. You just get down close and you just open the tray there. It can get stuck. That cutout is not, you know, it's pretty low profile in there, and the tray can get caught. So if it does, you just gotta maybe hold it down, let it open with your finger or something. DVD here. Okay. Let me show you another troubleshooting tip here. Oh, but before I do that, I'm going to show you this. That's a headphone jack, just to play music from any device that has a headphone jack. You can just plug directly into that and play music. The other side has extra HDMI inputs. There's 3 extra HDMI inputs for an Xbox, Apple TV, a Roku, a laptop. There's also this Apple adapter for an Apple product, iPhone, iPod, iPad. And so what that is this little switch here. Here's a troubleshooting tip. That blue light right there, that has to be on. If that blue light is not on, you won't have a picture. And what may happen there is there's a power strip. It's kind of hard to see down in here, but there's a power strip right there, and it can accidentally get switched off. The on-off switch is just right there, and it can get switched off, and then you'll know that's off if you don't see a blue light. This little switch does a pretty decent job of automatically going to whatever input. So say if you're in input 3 here with Apple TV, that little blue light in there should automatically jump to 3. Right now it's on 1 because that's the DVD player, the Blu-ray DVD player that will play both Blu-ray or DVD. It's on 1. The Apple adapter is on 5. Where I've seen it get hung up before is when it's common for somebody to have their iPhone plugged in to listen to music or whatever before it's dark enough to watch, and then they go, once it's dark enough to watch, they go to the DVD player, and the blue light just stays on 5. And so to get it to 1, there's a little button there. You can manually force it to go to whatever input you need it to go to if it doesn't automatically go to. Speaking of till it's dark, that's a common thing I get is they call me and they don't see a picture, well, because it's still light out. It's got to be pretty dark in order to see a picture. Okay, so we're just going to test the sound here. I'm going to show you some things in the settings. Sometimes with Blu-rays especially, or DVD player, if it doesn't pick up the DVD, you might have to open the tray again and close it. It's usually the second time it's a charm if it's not detecting the disc. And then we can just
DVD is enhanced with Disney's Fast Play.
Turn the volume up with this knob here. Okay, back to the topic of having that button accidentally pushed, and then it's getting taken off HDMI. This little menu notepad looking icon, it's also right there. That's the settings. So you can go right into settings, and it needs the input source, the very first one, it needs to say HDMI slash MHL. But that's what would happen, it'd get put on one of these. And then the volume is just the little speakers on the projector. They're not much, so we just put that as 0. Cinema, that's a good format, display mode there. The other thing is we always want to make sure this is where it needs to be. The format, the screen is a 16:10 ratio, and then 100% zoom. But we'll make sure these are all. We should make sure these are all here. But this is how you do it. If it's 100% zoom, now all you have to do is move the case back to get a bigger picture, and move it forward to get a smaller picture. And that concludes the instructional video for the 10-foot and the 14-foot cinema. Thanks for watching.